Hi guys, welcome back to Hacienda Mendez. Today we will be doing a small Sam's Club restock. We bought some white vinegar, dryer sheets, Tide and Cascade because they were on sale. I also got some groceries, which I usually don't, but I just didn't feel like going to the grocery store after going to Sam's. So I just went ahead and I stocked up because I also needed some onions and what you see there, and they also had that big bag of oranges, which we go through in a week. And I just went ahead and restocked what I thought we would eat for the week. That broccolini I actually ended up burning in the oven because I forgot about it. So I still have no idea what broccolini tastes like. And then of course I got myself a chicken, and we had that for lunch and dinner that day with some cucumber, and I made a salad for dinner. So when we get home, I go ahead and I put everything up. Whatever I can go ahead and prep and get put away or get washed, I go ahead and I do that. So a good example is with the onions. I went ahead and I took out the onions that I already had in the box. These are just UPS boxes that I keep in my pantry because I'm too cheap to buy like the actual cute ones that you see on Amazon or whatever. So I just keep them in this, and it does just fine. It's nowhere where people can see. So I go ahead and I put in the new batch of onion, and then I put the old batch of onions on top of that. Any onions that don't look good, like the one I had just shown you guys, I go ahead and I cut it up and I put it in the freezer or in the fridge, or I go ahead and I cook it for that night, depending on what I'm doing. So I go ahead and I do that, and I do the same with the red onion. I go ahead and I just put it on the other side, and I do the same. I look through, make sure that they all look good. If any of them look kind of beat up, I go ahead and I take that out. I chop off the bad pieces, and then I chop up the good stuff, and I either put it in the fridge as a pre-prepped chopped onion, or I put it in the freezer and you're done. You have pre-chopped onion. I also do the same thing with potato. I go ahead and I put my new bag of potatoes in there. It's really hard to keep them separate, so I just keep it in the bag. After lunch, after we ate lunch, I went ahead and I shredded the chicken, separated the carcass, and then I'm gonna make some stock with the carcass, and the chicken, whatever chicken was left over, I go ahead and I put it in the fridge for an easy soup, chicken salad, quesadillas, chicken tacos, whatever you want to do with it. It's ready to go. It's in the fridge and it's prepped. So it just makes it easier, especially when you have kids. So I'm making chicken stock here. So I went ahead and I just put the water, just plain water, tap water, the chicken carcass, and any of the chicken juices that were in the box went in there. And then you turn it on and you let it simmer for however long you can. The longer that you can simmer it, the better, because the more gelatinous it becomes. You can also make it in the Instant Pot. I just didn't have an extra outlet because they were still fixing my kitchen at this point, so I didn't have an extra outlet to be able to plug in the Instant Pot to get it to work. And then this is what it looks like after a little while. And I believe I let this chicken stock go for about 2 hours, and then I turned it off and I strained it, and it made about 2 quarts of chicken stock, which is perfect, and we used it for soup during that week. So this is my laundry area. I just wanted to show you guys this simple little wire rack, this little cheap wire rack. I bought it so that I can keep my stuff organized on it. So I went ahead and I put the Tide that I bought, I went ahead and I put it in there. I put the dryer sheets at the bottom, and then I just went ahead and I organized like everything just to have it there, so that you're not having to look for it or go open a box or go do whatever to be able to get your laundry done. It just makes it so much easier. I do recommend you having some sort of like cart or something to be able to put your stuff on it. It just makes it easier. Our laundry room isn't perfect, but it works for me for now. I had some leftover Finish pods, So I put those on top and just leave it there. As you can see, as I'm putting away or as I'm grabbing stuff, I'm going ahead and I'm kind of tidying up, which is what you see here. I'm kind of sort of like cleaning the countertop just because I'm a little OCD. But now I'm gonna start washing produce because I put away all of the stuff that doesn't need to be washed, like soaps and stuff. So the produce I wash with baking soda. I go ahead and I just let them soak for at least 15 minutes just to take off any pesticides or any bugs and dirt and stuff that's on them. And then whenever they're done soaking, I give them a rinse and I go ahead and I put them up. I either put them up in a Ziploc bag or I go ahead and I put them away in a glass container if they fit in the glass container. So it just kind of depends on the amount that I have left or that I bought, and that's where it ends up going. It either ends up going in a Ziploc bag or it ends up going in a glass container, in a large glass container. So we have romaine lettuce here that I'm going to go ahead and prep. I go ahead and I actually wash and cut up what I'm going to use within the next couple of days. I don't like washing and prepping lettuce in particular too far ahead in advance because it kind of gets wilty and it goes bad faster. Usually if you buy romaine lettuce, it can last in your fridge for about a week and a half or more if you're lucky. So I go ahead and I just put them in Ziploc bags because that bag doesn't fit in my fridge that way. So I go ahead and I put them in Ziploc bags so that I can go ahead and put them kind of next to each other in a space in my fridge. And then I went ahead and I prepped what I needed to prep for the week. I was going to make like lettuce boats one day and I was going to make salad with it another day. So I went ahead and I prepped that for the day. Actually, my son went ahead and prepped it. He wanted to help, so I allowed for him to help. One of them is gonna be for these crust like boats, meat boats. So we're gonna put meat in the middle with cheese. So we'll just los despelucas así, mira, carefully, okay?
Are you videotaping me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's part of the video. Here I am finally putting away the grapes. They went into 2 containers, one with only black grapes and then the other one went in with green grapes that we had left over from the week prior. And I mixed them with some of the black grapes, just to mix them up. My son is being very helpful during this video. He's actually washing one of the big stainless steel bowls that we have to be able to wash all that lettuce because it wasn't going to fit in that small little spinner that we have. So he went ahead and he washed it, and then he put all of the lettuce in there to be able to wash it.
You put it in? There's a lot of water spill just like right here.
Now I'm going to go ahead and wash the broccolini. Now along with washing it, I also cut off the ends of the broccolini. I also do this with regular broccoli or cauliflower when I buy it. because usually the ends kind of look brown. So I go ahead and I take it off just so that the produce looks fresher and it's more appetizing to eat. And I'm putting all this work into prepping it. Might as well prep it to where I actually want to use it and it doesn't look old. And I also wash it with baking soda. All of my produce I wash with baking soda. Notice that as I prep, we clean. We prep one thing, it gets put away. We prep another, it gets put away. So we kind of work in batches so that it's not super overwhelming to have all this stuff that's ready to get packed and you've only got 2 arms to get it done. So as it gets going, we get cleaning. As things get put away, countertops get wiped down. So just stuff like that, just so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming as you're doing it.
Clean as best as you can. And then you'll do the same. You'll tap, tap, tap.
With the green beans, I actually go ahead and I prep them completely. Like I take off the ends to make sure that they're ready to go for whenever I need them. So usually with green beans, they either get made into a garlic butter green bean, or I use them in like a vegetable with meat. So we do meat with green beans, and that's pretty much most of the time that's how my green beans get used, or I use them in some kind of soup during lunchtime. So I like just having them prepped and ready to go. Yes, green beans will go slimy if you do not use them within time, but usually we can go through a bag of green beans without any issues just because we like green beans so much. So that's why I don't hesitate on buying green beans and prepping them ahead of time like I do with lettuce. Salads we don't care for as much as green beans.
Oh, can I just peel this onion? Oh, wow.
That's why I want to go ahead and use it. The chocolate.
My son offered to go ahead and peel the onion, so I allowed him to go ahead and peel the onion. And then I also allowed for him to chop the onion. I've taught him safe knife practices, and he also takes cooking classes at one of his little homeschool groups. So I am very comfortable with him using a knife. I don't feel unsafe in any way. I do have to remind him sometimes to make sure he keeps his fingers tucked and his thumb out of the way, which is normal for a child, sometimes even for an adult. So I do keep an eye on him. Just because I'm not in the shoot doesn't mean that I'm not looking at him. But he's very good with knives, as you can tell, with his knife skills. pro tip, goggles in the kitchen are really helpful whenever you're trying to chop onions, which is what my son went to go do. He went to go get his science lab goggles so that he could chop this onion without crying. As my son chopped up that onion, the fact that I had bought chicken thighs came to mind. So I went ahead and decided to use the onion so that to marinate the chicken with some pesto. So I had some homemade pesto in the fridge. So we went ahead and used that pesto with the onion, and that's what we're going to flavor our chicken thighs with, which worked perfect because we needed to use up that onion, and that was the perfect way to use up an onion without having to waste it. When you wash green beans, make sure you wring all of the water out of the green beans just so that they last a little bit longer in the fridge if you don't get to them on time. And also put in paper towels inside of the glass container or inside of the plastic bag that you use so that it absorbs any of the moisture that might still be on the green beans. That way they stay fresh for longer.
I don't know the name of the chemical, but it's the same chemical that cleans the grill. Oh, just the grill. You know how people say, can you bring me an onion so I can clean the grill?
So now that I have all my fruit and veggie prepped, I go ahead and I open up chicken packets. And I do it in that manner so that I don't accidentally contaminate fruit and veggies. So I leave the meat till the end, which is what I'm doing now. So I go ahead and I put half of the chicken thighs in that pesto and onion marinade, and then the other half gets marinated by my son with some with like a special mix that he has come up with. It's a seasoning mix. I'll have to ask him the recipe for it, but he makes it. Once the little mason jar goes empty, he goes ahead and he mixes it up all over again, all on his own. He's a really good little chef. All of my chicken preps, like marinated chickens, they always go in a Ziploc bag. I don't like using reusable, like the silicone ones on meat, just because you can't really truly ever get those clean. So they always go in disposable Ziploc bags just for health reasons on my end. And then I'm done with all of the prep, but now I'm gonna have to clean up after myself and just make sure that everything is clean afterwards. And that's what you'll see me doing now. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me for another video. Please don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. If you have any videos that you would like to suggest for me to put on, you can just go ahead and comment down below. Thank you for everything, you guys. God bless.